Hi folks, this is Meredith from the Papery Craftery, and this is my third video in my holiday series. Today we're going to be making some really quick peppermint swirl candies made out of quilling paper. So I have here 1/8 inch wide quilling paper in red and white. You can also grab some green if you'd like a little variation. And then I also have a very light gray. This is going to act as the cellophane twisted wrapper on the side of our peppermint swirls. You can use whatever quilling tool you like. A needle tool or a slotted tool will work fine. You might need some tweezers. And then you're also going to need the glue of your choice. I'm just going to be using Elmer's Glue All in my needle nose container today. And then it probably will be helpful to grab a cork workboard covered in a non-stick surface like parchment paper, and you might need to have some straight pins. Depends on how easily your pieces are fitting together when we get to that point. Now, the process for these peppermint candies really is very simple. It's the same shape repeated 8 times, and you're going to alternate the pieces you're making in red and white. You're going to need 4 strips of each color, and those strips need to be about 6 inches long. That's going to make your finished candies pretty much the exact size that they are in real life. To make the candies, we're going to make the same shape repeated on each of those 8 different strips. So we're going to start off by rolling 1 strip from end to end. Like I said earlier, whatever type of tool you like is perfect for this job. Take it off your tool and let it open up fairly naturally in your hands. And then we're going to pinch one end. So at this point, we have a teardrop. We're going to glue down the ends, get that all set up. And now we're going to hold the bottom that we just pinched, that teardrop, and push to one side, just slightly, right over my thumb there. And that's going to make sort of another point to the side. And then you want that to curve even more. So push it over a tool. If you only want to keep pushing it over your thumb, that's okay. But notice I didn't make a point on both sides of the top. It's just one side and then curved to the side where the point is. Now these are not shapes we see very often. We're going to do this again. So here is one of the 6-inch white strips that I made. Just like before, we're going to roll it all the way from end to end. And then let it open up a bit, just like so. Pinch the bottom and then glue down your tail. And I got a little bit of an extra little bit there. I want to go ahead and snip that off. If I leave it on, it's going to affect the way that my swirl comes together in my candy. So get rid of that. And now, just like before, I have my pinched part. I'm going to face that down and bend one side over my thumb, pinching the top just slightly, and then just really emphasize that curve that I just made and putting it over a tool there. So there we go. There's piece number 2, and it will match together right up alongside that first red piece that I made. And you're going to need to do, like I mentioned earlier, 4 of each color. So I have the rest of the teardrops here, and I'm going to go and pinch them all so that they're all the same shape. Sometimes it's easier if you do things sort of assembly line method. So I made all the teardrops first. Now I'm going to go through and bend all those pieces over a tool, and then I'll be able to fit them together. So here is where I have my cork board. And I'm just going to start adding some glue piece by piece. You can do it on the inside curve. You can do it on the outside curve. It's not going to matter. All the large points are facing down. And you're just going to kind of sandwich them back to back. And eventually it will make a circle. Sometimes you will not need to pin these. They'll fit together just perfectly fine. And everybody's going to be very happy. Sometimes they might just not line up exactly the way you want them to. If you use the same length of paper and only let them open up about the same amount, for each little segment there, they should more or less be about the same size, and they should more or less fit together nicely. But every once in a while, somebody decides they don't want to fit exactly in the way that you have them, and you can use pins for this. That is okay. Nobody's going to be able to tell once you're done. You can sort of make sure with the pins that they're really in there nice and snug. Like those guys on the bottom kind of wanted to bounce back a little bit. So I just put some pins in and just get them to where I want them. You might also decide that some of the top of the segments aren't matching up exactly the way you like them. So just put some pins in and just get them nice and snug. There will be a tiniest of tiny spaces between each of the little segments, so don't let that make you sort of crazy. Don't let that make you like really bug you. Nobody else is going to notice, really, first of all, when it's all done. But also, if you picture, the candies, they're not completely smooth all the way on the outside edge. There are little divots and little bumps, and that's okay. So here I have half of my candy done. I'm going to continue around until I get the entire 8 segments together. And there is my last piece. And just going to kind of make sure I have everybody where I want them. Decide if I want to add any more pins. And then just going to let that dry. We'll do a little bit of a close-up here in a second so we can see what we're looking at. Here we go. See how everybody kind of meets in the center and then fans out, alternating colors, just like one of those little peppermint candies. Now for our last little detail, we're going to make a sort of similar shape. They're also going to be 6 inches long, and this is from that light gray paper that I mentioned before. If you don't have that, you can use white as well. It's the same width, 1/8 inch wide. We're going to roll the 6 inches up all the way to end like before. Take it off your tool, and we're starting off the same way. We're making a big point on the bottom right into another teardrop shape. But then we're going to modify the other end, just like we did before, just a slightly different move. So instead of one point and having it curved before, I'm making 2 little points on the top. Just pinch, pinch, right on the top. And then I'm pushing my tool right between those 2 points on the top to make sort of like an arrow shape, kind of an inverted triangle on the top there. And I have 3 of those that are the same size. And I'm going to glue them from side to side. So a little bit of glue along one edge and press another one up. I'm not putting these on my board. I'm not using pins for these. If you want to, you can. It does go fairly quickly. And I'm going to glue another one to the other side. And this technique is not, again, something we use too often. I think the last time I did it was when I made bat wings a number of years ago for Halloween. But it also makes what you could envision as sort of a twisted up piece of that little cellophane that's on the side of the candies. You're going to need 2 of those for each candy. And by the time that I made those side pieces, my candy is dry, so I can take all my pins out. And I did have another thought. If the bumpy edge does bother you, you can always just wrap another strip around. Just glue one end and wrap around if you like to. But again, I like the look of kind of the segment still on the side. If you do have 1 or 2 that's a little bit bigger than the other, when you attach these little side pieces here to make the wrapper, you can put them, or at least one of them strategically, in the spot where you think your gap might be a little bit too big between the candies, and then put the other one directly across. So here's the second one. And I'm just going to put that right on the other side. And that's it. These are so fast to make. They come together really, really easily. Again, the size is almost the same exact size of the candies themselves. You can alternate with different colors. So I have here the green one as well, sort of a wintergreen vibe to the little candies instead of peppermint. These are just super cute for the holidays. You can make little cards out of them. If you want to make a million of them, you could make like a garland or something. I don't know. You guys always come up with such great ideas. So please leave those ideas in the comment section, and along with any questions you might have, and I'll answer them as soon as I can. Don't forget to look in the description box of the video where you can find the links to all the tools and supplies I use, along with a link to my Buy Me a Coffee page like you see here, where you can find a bunch of quilling extras and other ways to support the channel, which really does help it grow and is always greatly appreciated. It helps me keep making these videos week after week. In the meantime, though, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can be around for the next video, and I'll see you then. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.